So those are pictures from last night where we had hundreds of protesters who protesting against illegal mining and also to free those who have been locked up. We understand that they will be appearing before court hopefully tomorrow or on the 8th. And you can clearly see that these are people who had taken a walk all the way from Spanner Junction through to the NSS towards Kaokudi, and finally they settled in around the Black Star Square, where you had quite a number of them, you know, raising their flashlights and trying to drum home the need for their grievances to be heard. It was like a movie yesterday, in as much as it was drizzling at a point. Most of the people did not leave the premises until it was around 10 p.m. Most of them started leaving. But there have been some responses. President Akufo-Addo has come under criticism over what some describe as his government's intolerance towards protest against its policies. Some Democracy Hub protesters were remanded into custody by the court after being arrested by the police during a protest last week against illegal mining. However, the president, speaking in an interview with France 24, disagrees his government has been putting impediments in the path of protest.
We've seen a lot of protests. Some activists were arrested, put in jail. The opposition is saying you're trying to stifle dissent.
I'm not responsible for jailing people in Ghana. The courts in Ghana are independent institutions, and they have been all through this period of the Fourth Republic. People misconduct themselves and they're brought before court. It's for the court to deal with them. That's not a matter.
It has nothing to do about politics.
It has nothing to do with the executive. And their behavior is what lands them in problem with the police and with the courts. It's not the protests. How can the president, who himself, his political career was aided by leading protests, have problems with protests? I don't have problems with protests. And nothing is done in Ghana to prevent people from airing their views.
Right, let's have a conversation. Let's engage Brownson Adechi, who is one of the conveners for the protest. Sir, thank you so much for your time. What is your assessment of the three-day protest so far?
Hello, good morning to your viewers. I think I would say it has been very satisfactory and successful because from the very first day, that was on a Thursday, a weekday, through to Friday, we realized the numbers, even though people would have to be at work as at that time. But then we had a few hundreds of people on the street to register their displeasure. And looking at yesterday, which was the climax of it all, it showed that everything is possible. And it brings hope for the youth of Ghana. So I think a very successful protest.
Right, I can clearly tell from how you sound that you might be a little exhausted. But what's the next for you as conveners? We know one of your demands is for the release of the arrested Democracy Hub protesters, and they are due in court on Monday. What will be next in line for you?
Okay, so looking at our various demands, with the release of the Democracy Hub protesters, if they are not released as at tomorrow, the 8th and the 11th, I think we would need to escalate actions. When I say escalate actions, I hope everyone understands that it's going to be very legal and lawful actions. We may take extensive legal actions or international advocacy and civil mobilization. Now, tomorrow, Tuesday, which is tomorrow the 7th, Tuesday and the 11th, most of us are going to be in court in solidarity with our brothers to support them. So that is what we are doing post-protest. So we're going to look, we have to pay attention to the ruling come tomorrow and Tuesday and the 11th. Then that can inform other actions that we will take. But tomorrow we are going to support our brothers and sisters massively in court.
Right. The president has asked Labour for more time regarding demands, including the repeal of LI 2462 and a moratorium on small-scale mining. Would you say Labour should ignore what plea and, the president is asking from Labour and proceed with a strike on October 10?
Absolutely, my brother. The meeting in the first place wasn't necessary. Okay, the Labour, as all Ghanaians or our citizens as well, were only venting their displeasure with the devastation caused by Galamsey. And they are Ghanaians, they have every right to vent their displeasure. They do not hold the key to the actions the president needs to take to put a ban on illegal mining or other forms of mining that tends to destroy our water and our lands. They do not hold the key to that. Presidency knows what to do. Authorities know what to do to put a ban on illegal mining. Engaging with Labour to give them time is not necessary. It's not even the action they shouldn't be taking. This is not the time for us to have promises, to have committees, because committees have been set up severally to look into these issues. But what do we get? The issue gets deteriorating and our waters are being destroyed and poisoned by mercury and other heavy metals. Our lands, about 5 million hectares of arable lands have been destroyed. And this is the time the president is asking for more time after spending over 7 years. My brother,
right.
I just think that the president is not ready and not prepared to help Ghanaians in this way.
I will let you go this time around and have a lot more rest. Brownson Adachi is one of the conveners for the protest.
Let's do other stories now. Smallholder farmers in the Brim North District are losing their crops and farmlands to irresponsible mining activities. Ivonika reports not only are these farmlands being destroyed, but the Pra River is also facing severe pollution.
Helena Koko is lost in thought, wondering where her next meal will come from. Few weeks ago, her 40-year oil palm and cocoa farms in Shapiase No. 2 were destroyed for mining activities. Her tears reflect the struggle to find daily bread for her 4 dependents.
My plea is for them to help me get back my productive farmland.
In the Achim Abudum community, arable lands have been auctioned to miners under questionable circumstances. Their staple oil palm plantation production is gradually decreasing.
In Yadwani, in Krumano, Mekono, in Toast Namoyano, we say Gusua, who was a planet to be Gusua, and so now I'm one.
The river Pra has been polluted. It destroys our crops when we use it for vegetation.
I say,
Gamse for be 2 abeno be near New Yen metro. Am I product also and our beno iron?
The illegal miners have destroyed our farmlands, which have affected our crop production.
Portions of the Pra River have been diverted and polluted, rendering it unusable for residents. Streams at the estuary point of the Pra River in Achimobudum is worsening daily. A clear violation of the Water Resources Commission Acts 1996, Act 522, Sections 22 and 24, and contradicting government efforts to meet Sustainable Development Goals targets set by the United Nations by 2030. Residents are demanding a ban on mining activities to protect their farmlands, warning that food insecurity is at risk.
See, baby, I don't know how you can move at the coffin. Nipa be brave for him penny phone call.
Pits created by Galamsey have become really dangerous to commuters.
Smallholder farmers play a crucial role in contributing significantly to agricultural production and rural livelihoods. Opinion leader Robert Owusu expressed concern that mining activities have caused irreparable damage to the community's socio-cultural fabric, while health hazards loom large. He emphasized the need for law enforcement and political accountability.
It is the responsibility of the government to see to it that all these land distractions come to an end. You see, this time the oil palm trees that we are seeing are not yielding to their maximum capacity. I don't know. They say because of this galamsey, the weather conditions have changed, and we are losing greatly. Children are being affected because at times they dodge from classes and then go for some simple monies to care for themselves. This has added up to teenage pregnancy and delinquency. Some people have started smoking Indian hemp.
Many farmers continue to feel helpless as their lands continue to be destroyed, while local chiefs appear indifferent, often complicit in land agreements for mining activities.
Calls are growing for organized labor to proceed with its planned strike on October 10 in demanding urgent government action on the destructive impact of illegal mining. While President Akufo-Addo is asking for more time to determine the government's next steps, many in the public warn that given the extent of the damage, swift action is critical. Here's a report from our news desk.
Pressure continues to mount on the government to take steps to secure the future of the country by delaying drastically with the menace of illegal mining, galamsey. Organized labor plans to strike on October 10 over the issue. President Akufo-Addo on Thursday, October 3, appealed to organized labor to suspend its intention of a nationwide strike. This follows a declaration of strike after the government refused to declare a state of emergency. Labour, among others, wanted the president to place a moratorium on all forms of mining and a declaration of a state of emergency. For a former director of the Ghana School of Law, Kweku Ansah-Asare, organized labour should go ahead and strike.
Organized labor should not heed the president's advice for the simple reason that the president has not lived up to expectations as regards the promises that he has made the nation. He shouldn't be asking organized labor to do anything. He has not been sincere. He will not be sincere. He will not keep any promise that he will give within the next 8 weeks. So as far as I'm concerned, organized labor should proceed.
President of the Imani Center for Policy Education, Franklin Kuja, also wants Labour to go ahead with its planned action, stating that President Akufo-Addo has not shown any commitment to the galamsey fight.
As I said, it will be extremely unwise on the part of organized labor to pull back at this stage. I mean, pull back for how many days for the president to do what? Now, this is a president who started off boasting that he would deal with this matter. He wasted our money. We gave him they used $3 million to buy some drones. We don't know where those drones flew to. As we speak, this is a state-sponsored illegal mining. Let's not joke. Let's not prepare it. Let's not make it sound as though it's something light we are dealing with. State-sponsored.
Speaking on the key points, the government spokesperson on governance and security, Dr. Palgrave Boachidankwa, noted that the government is working to address the issues.
When organized labor brought out their statement requesting for 3 items that the president calls for a state of emergency, revocation of the LI to be able to license small-scale miners, LI 2462, and then a setup of smaller courts to be able to deal with ongoing illegal mining cases. On Thursday at about 9 o'clock, the president met with organized labor, and I thought that was a very swift action.
Professor of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Ransford Jampo, criticized the neck-jerk approach by the government to tackling the issue of illegal mining.
This knee-jerk reaction from government is so pasco and is so nonsensical. You know, when we started earlier, then government said, I've put together an interministerial committee to address the kinds of things that you are talking about. Then the interministerial committee invited Labour. They went, they engaged them, and then they were told that give us 1 week, we'll revert to you on the demands that we've...
Northtown lawmaker Samuel Okuyoto-Ablakwa, who was also on the program, questioned the capacity of state agencies in charge of the mining space to supervise and regulate the sector.
What is the capacity, particularly of the Minerals Commission, of the Environmental Protection Agency, to make sure that these people you are granting licenses to comply, follow the rules? What is even your staffing strength? Have you employed people? Have you opened offices across the country? If they know that they will do all of this without reclaiming the lands, and the authorities don't have the capacity, then what is the sense in engaging in all of this massive issuance of licenses?
The latest research findings by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, have revealed that Ghana is recording over 24,000 cancer cases each year due to illegal mining, leaving harmful impacts on people. With over 60% of water bodies contaminated, many patients are increasingly building resistance to medications.
We have roughly about 5 river systems in this country, and all the river systems are almost gone. One of the biggest we have that seem untouched is the Volta Basin. And even in the Volta Basin, they've started mining in the black Volta and in the white Volta. And if you don't take care and protect what we have, we will be in a very serious problem.
The days are counting down as to whether organized labor will stick with its promise to strike or allow the president more time to deal with the existential threat of illegal mining.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana has urged government to implement several key reforms to enhance the role of pharmacists in the national health care system. The society emphasized the need to expedite the integration of community pharmacies into the national primary health care system. With over 5,000 pharmacies across the country, these establishments are ideally positioned to serve as first points of contact for minor illnesses, particularly in underserved areas. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana proposed the adoption of a pharmacy-first policy, which would recognize community pharmacies as essential access points for healthcare services. The society also called for the establishment of a contractual framework with the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, to ensure that services provided by community pharmacies are reimbursed. Dr. Emmanuel Owusu Oriafe is the National Chair of the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association. He's joining us for a conversation. Doc, thank you for joining us this afternoon. The severe shortage of pharmacists in public sector hospitals. Tell us how dire this is.
Okay, thank you very much for having me this afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. When we look at the public sector assets now, there is severe shortage of pharmacists within the various institutions. From our last survey that was done, we came to the point of knowledge that our public sector health facilities need about 1,000 pharmacists to fill current existing vacancies, from pharmacists, senior pharmacists, principal, up to the specialist grade of pharmacies. All these areas need to be appropriately filled. If you actually even compare the staffing norms within the health sector by the Ministry of Health itself to what is currently existing, we have a deficit of about 60%, and that is accounting for the 1,000 pharmacists that need to be recruited into the system. And that is the current plea from the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana as it is espoused in our communique after our annual general meeting. And so, yes, pharmaceutical care providers already working in the various hospitals are overwhelmed with the number of patients and clients that we need to attend to. And it is our dire recommendation that the government, as a matter of urgency, recruit pharmacists and other pharmaceutical care staff so that we can be able to provide optimal services to the people of Ghana.
Doc, and the few who have also been posted are also faced with a challenge of compensation and other issues with posting. What has been the level of response or conversation from the government regarding this?
In all sincerity, as at now, it has just still been, it's just an issue of a promise, because we've made it very clear. I mean, as you are very much aware, the FAMD housemen who were posted into the system for the service period of last year has, as at date, not been compensated, though we are much aware that, I mean, as I said, it's just a promise. And we are just hoping that the appropriate thing will be done. And the issue about the compensation we are talking about is that, as at now, GOSPA public sector pharmacists are in negotiations, and we expect government to do the needful. If you come to in the West African region and you want to compare with other regions across the world, public sector pharmacists in Ghana are among the worst paid. I mean, our remuneration is nothing to write home about, and we expect the government to respect the existing relativities so that public sector pharmacists will be appropriately compensated, so that we will be able to deliver that quality care that is needful for the population.
Doc, the society is also making calls for a review of policies regarding over-the-counter medicine shops. Why has this become important? They are the people we all go to when we have our headaches and all of that.
Okay, but on the issue of the over-the-counter medicine sellers, so what the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is saying is, for now, there are a number of, we are producing more than 1,000 pharmacists yearly across the various training institutions. And these professionals come in with, so much through their training, acquire knowledge and skills through the training. And the point is that, yes, we want to enhance pharmaceutical care, but it will be very appropriate if pharmacies, when we look at the urban areas, for example, pharmacies are, the over-the-counter medicine, seller shops are actually being converted to pharmacies. The point is that we want the population of Ghana to have access to the most quality pharmaceutical services. And so we are pleading with our regulator and government at large to ensure that at least within the urban population, these OTCs are converted. And then there should even be the gradual process where we make pharmaceutical services more accessible to the population. What happens is that with the over-the-counter medicine sellers, they are only licensed to dispense and serve only Class C drugs. So for the Class A drugs, which are the prescription-only drugs, and then even the pharmacy, the pharmacists considered rather the Class B drugs. These cannot be dispensed by the OTCs. And so if we indeed want to enhance pharmaceutical care, then considering the number of qualified pharmacists who are now available, let's do some conversions, and then let's have that, purposeful strategic plan to win out OTCs in some of these areas.
Doc, we can't conclude this conversation without talking about illegal mining and its health impact. Is it something that is discussed in your quarters? Has the pharmaceutical sector been impacted?
Absolutely, absolutely. As we reiterated, when you come to the production of infusions, water is a basic factor. If we are having the instance as it is now where our water bodies are being polluted, what we are simply putting out across is that it is definitely going to lead to the increase of the cost of production for particularly the infusions. And if we don't take care, it will jeopardize the local manufacturing industry. Already, there is huge competition between our local manufacturing industries and then some of the other pharmaceuticals that are imported.
Yeah.
So Galamsey ought to be kept. As our release talked about, we want government to take a decisive action to end it and then protect our water resources so that we can have a sustainable local pharmaceutical production.
All right, Doc, thank you for speaking to us. Dr. Emmanuel Owiafi is the National Chair of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana.
We talk about the Ministry of Education has announced that it is working towards achieving zero tolerance for indiscipline in Ghana's senior high schools. This initiative aims to curb the rising incidence of student violence. Concerns of growing indiscipline among senior high students have in recent time been topical in public discourse. Here's Education Minister Dr. Yawose Duchum speaking at this year's World Teachers' Day event.
Let me sound a note of caution to all students that there should be no tolerance for indiscipline in our schools. And there will be zero tolerance for indiscipline in our schools. We have some proposals that we are going to be discussing with Charles and others regarding discipline in high schools. We have begun with the appointments of deans of discipline. That is a good start. Zero tolerance for indiscipline in our high schools. There are where students, when they finish their WASI, go on a rampage destroying school properties will be over. Because we are working, and we're going to be working with tertiary institutions, colleges of education, nursing training colleges, universities, to ensure that when you are moving from high school to the university, you will provide a testimonial. You will have to secure a reference letter talking about your character. So if you go on a rampage and destroy property, that ends your career. Indiscipline should not be tolerated anywhere in our schools. If you are proven to become a nuisance at a disadvantage, we'll give the school the right to do an opportunity transfer. You'll be sent to another school whose name I will not mention.
President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ghana, King Ali Awudu, is joining us on phone for a further conversation. Thank you so much for your time. How will the provision of testimonial that will state students' character when applying for a place in tertiary institutions deal with and discipline at the senior high school level?
Yeah, thank you very much. A very good afternoon to all your listeners. Right. And then congratulations to all the awardees, all those that won the award yesterday. Yes, yesterday we were all at the event. The minister's response or the minister's statement was a response to a request from the teacher unions. During the event, when the president of NAT, Reverend Owusu, was reading the speech of the teacher unions, we requested to the minister that something seriously needs to be done about the indiscipline in our schools. The minister, even before this event, have always talked about discipline in our schools. And therefore, it is apt for the minister to say that the ministry is going to work with all the tertiary institutions to make sure that after they have given you admission, you need to provide a testimonial or a reference letter from your senior high school or your TVET school stating about your behavior and your character. When we were in school, when you leave school, everywhere you go, they will ask of your testimonial. But the issue of testimonial is no more. And it is the rate at which indiscipline is yielding in our schools. There's a way we can curb it. And we believe very strongly that if the student knows that if I misbehave myself and I leave senior high school and I want to go to University of Ghana, Legon, University of Ghana, after having given me that admission, will request for a testimonial of me from my former school, they will behave.
Right, that is very well noted. But is the ministry getting the issues right? Hello, Mr. Ali.
You are asking if the ministry is getting the issues right.
Absolutely.
And what are the issues? Indiscipline is indiscipline, and it takes various forms. The worst form of indiscipline is what we are currently seeing in our senior high schools, where students are killing their fellow students. The highest form of indiscipline, the fatal type. Beyond that, there are so many other forms of indiscipline. And you know now, corporal punishment is no longer allowed in our schools because it has been abused over the years. But there are so many other forms of indiscipline and that's going on in our schools that there is a need for the students to be made aware that if you do not behave yourself here and you continue to misbehave, it can affect you in your future.
But as teachers...
Hello?
Right. As teachers, what do you propose should be the approach to tackling growing indiscipline by some students in senior high schools?
Teachers are already the people managing indiscipline in our schools.
Right.
If teachers have waived their attention on discipline, our senior high schools will have turned into rebel camps by now. It is the presence of the teachers that is currently managing the issue of indiscipline. However, no matter how the teachers manage the issues of indiscipline in our schools, we will get one or two students that will go out of the norm and misbehave. So as I said earlier, if the teachers were to waive their management of discipline in our schools, our senior high schools will have turned to rebel camps. Because if a student can use a knife to stab his colleague student and kill the person, it means that a time will come, if the teachers were not managing discipline, a time will come that some of them will start carrying guns to school. So we should let them know that you don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Even if you do it, know that even after you have left the four walls of this school, you can still be punished. And that is where the testimonial comes in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I have been engaging King Ali Awudu, who is the president of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers of Ghana. Let's still stay on the phone line and engage Dr. Peter Party, who is the executive director at the Institute of Education Studies. Sir, thank you so much for your time. How will the provision of testimonial that will state a student's character when applying for a place in tertiary institutions deal with indiscipline at the senior high school level?
Thank you very much and good afternoon to your viewers. I think that it's a good initiative. If it's employed in the admission process of our students, because your testimonial in one way or the other is like a recommendation that you submit when you are applying for a master's program. And the recommendation speaks about your academic capabilities as well as your general behavior and other skill sets, that competencies that you possess. So that would be an addition to the other documents that you are submitting, and a total evaluation of these would either inform the admissions of committee or panel whether to admit you or not. So it will be an addition to the processes of admitting people into the various institutions. I think he can work to help reduce indiscipline in the school, but we have to be a little bit cautious because the admission criteria are set by the various tertiary institutions, and these tertiary institutions will have to accept this as one of the documents that they would need from the students before they admit the student. So if this is not accepted by the the admitting school, we can talk about it and say what we want to say about it. But then the institutions responsible would have to accept this. Again, we also have to understand that in our system, some of these documents can be procured. So it might not reflect the true character of the person that we are dealing with. And that can go a long way to still water down the impact that will have on the disciplinary issues on our campuses. But I must admit that could be one of the things you can do to ensure that students put up a behavior that is good.
I mean, you are aware of some of these indiscipline acts, and most recently, what happened in the O'Reilly Senior High School where a student was stabbed to death. I mean, listening to what the Education Minister, Dr. Yosei Duchum, said at the teachers' event, do you think the ministry is in the right direction?
You see, issues of discipline is something that cannot be handled from only the top. It's something that is very complex. Okay, it's something that is very complex to the extent that somebody can bring a knife to school to stab somebody. Means that we are dealing with something that is far beyond the normal rhetoric that we hear from our leaders. We need to understand that the system and societal changes that are happening, I mean, the sociological changes that are happening within our system, and confront it head on. You need to ensure that parents are involved in the issue of discipline. You need to ensure that you have equipped equipped teachers to be able to handle or deal with disciplinary issues. You need to ensure that disciplinary issues, I mean issues that happen on campuses that are criminal, are handled by the criminal officers, those who are mandated to deal with criminal issues. So somebody stabs somebody. It's not a school disciplinary issue. This is truly a criminal offense that needs to be handled by the authorities that have to deal with that. If a student destroys something in school, or maybe a student disrespects a teacher, that is a disciplinary issue. And there should be systems and mechanisms to deal with such a student, and in fact bring in the parents or the guardians of the students to ensure that they are aware of the behavior of the student. So I believe that we should not reduce this rhetoric, and that is what we've been doing. We are always talking about things, but on the ground there are so many different things that are happening. How have we engaged teachers to really understand the challenges that they are going to in handling students? Sometimes in a classroom, students can misbehave. Okay, they can be recently something happened in one of the schools in Central where students took a cane from the teacher and enlarged the teacher with it.
Absolutely.
And that can happen.
That is very well noted. Thank you so much for your time. I have been engaging Dr. Peter Partey, who is the Executive Director at the Institute of Education Studies. You're so tuning to Weekend Central here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asideba. We are taking a quick break and we will be back shortly. Make sure you stay with us here on TV3.
All have that one friend, always by your side for the big moments and ready to assist. He's always got his eyes on the prize and his heart in the right place. Where would we be without our BFF? This season, enjoy all 380 Premier League games with your BFF GoTV. Upgrade or reconnect to GoTV Super Plus for the discounted price of just 265 cedis today. GoTV, love it.
This October to December, King's Furniture says, thank you, Ghana. Enjoy a whopping 25% off on all our domestic kitchen, wardrobes, and sofas. Upgrade your home with the finest furniture, crafted right here in Ghana. And for your office, we're offering 20% discount on all office furniture because your workspace deserves the best. Whether it's for home or office, now's the time to make your space truly yours and give the gift of comfort and style to your loved ones. Hooray! Promo is from October 1st and ends December 31st, 2024. Visit King's Furniture Showroom today and enjoy these incredible discounts. Locate us in Accra, Kisima, adjacent Melco and Takrade, Tanokrum, Pipeline, right opposite Connect FM, or call us on 050-150-5507 Accra and 050-133-2327. King's Furniture sets a standard. And a big thank you to Ghana.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na mkwan point no mhwe me mogya mu no mhwe bibia na so mo medu me fae no ene ma won kra me enu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me ko ye no me Johnson sema na enkoyie empeso na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there the hard nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Auntie Esi. Na den na wo no wata mo ba me ho amoni maye busasa.
Auntie Ama. Pacho me be nya school mu kwan. Eya university. Na scan year 2005. Anya dia menya. Ti mayi me ntoma same de bro na pepi kakra. No the farmer me.
Oh enya su mensu fantoma ne koto fi. Enti wonte se John Dramani Mahama. Ene NDC for say. Se nyame ya adom na Ghana for to abama na. Wo ba Aba University bia, Technical University, College of Education, Nursing Training. Wo mu nyina academic fees for first year. Eye free. No. Yes.
Adama wujidi. Atadwen, another matter dende.
Auntie Esi. She ebiem. Wo say enka ne bosia na obo wo ma omo to school so no. Se na obo ne ba ko a, se wo so obesi ho. E dia ma oma omo to so no.
Ane enya mi sa John Mahama.
Ye chame so mu kra ne se. Ye nuanu ma omo didem asabi bread yasa. Omo ko school to no. Wo se wo mu nyina wo ba. Eye free.
Ane Sioma.
Yay.
Enka me ko nanka na ye 7 December. Nanka ya tu abana maye papa Mahama. Amana be ya president.
Hwe wasit ne moto abapa. E de sakra ya papa beba wa brabo mu. To abama John Mahama ne NDC.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Why should the Ghanaian people choose you and the CPP?
We have wasted our lives by voting for these two parties.
Is there justification for an audit of the voter register?
To ask an external person at this critical moment and this time to come and audit, I don't see the reason why. The moment I take the oath, there's a halt on any illegal mining.
Do you think that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be happy with the CPP of today?
I believe that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be very miserable with Ghana of today.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Welcome back. This is Weekend Central on TV3. Let's stay with issues on education. And pupils and teachers of Jabado Primary School in the Saboba districts of the Northern region are sitting on a ticking time bomb as their school structure continues to deteriorate. My colleague Stanley Nibleu visited the area and filed this report.
and may our mercy and so go to be fly forever.
After parade, pupils of the Jabado Primary School marched into their classrooms, but were obviously not happy with the school infrastructure. 3 non-spacious classrooms accommodate kindergarten 1 to class 6 pupils in a multi-grade fashion. The weak structure, laced with deep cracks, puts the lives of pupils and teachers at risk, prompting concerns among teachers and parents.
The structure is very outmoded. You yourself being in that structure teaching, you won't find it easy. And again, the structure has also made our enrollment to be going down, especially rainy season. Some of the parents are afraid that the structure will cause danger to their children. So because of that, they don't allow their children to come during rainy season. Looking at the structure, it has a crack, and we don't know when it will fall.
In 2017, a portion of a weak classroom block collapsed and killed 6 kindergarten pupils in Breman Jamra in the central region. At the time, Joseph Asantebedu was the district NAT secretary. Now, he has been transferred to the Saboba district, where another danger looms.
Some of these structures that we have seen, Master, even when we dig deeper, we can see worse ones, which is more deplorable than this one that we have seen. So just listen to a new teacher who finds himself in a new environment, meeting this type of structures that we are talking about. The motivation will not be there for him to work as expected. But still, we, the union, NAT, will still motivate them that wherever they find themselves, they should contribute their quota.
Pupils have been compelled to do academic works on the floor, owing to limited furniture. The thatch roof of the building have equally become weak and is unable to hold water when it rains. Water continued to drip inside the class at the time of our visit, and that was where pupils without furniture sit to undertake lessons. The assistant head teacher, Patrick Waja Nanyinan, says the situation has prevented many teachers from accepting postings to the school.
We can do our best, but the structure has affected us too much. All aspect of teaching has gone down.
Schools like the Jabado Primary are common in the Saboba district. The situation at the Gbalo DA Primary in the Shriponi district is not different. 8 teachers left the school in a single year, leaving only 2 teachers to handle kindergarten 1 to primary 6 pupils, owing to obvious reasons.
The one that you are talking about was the one that we first used. And later on, we asked the communities to help, and then they put up this mud building here. There are no furnitures, but KG 1 and 2, that's where they are. We don't have even a single furniture for them. Looking at the condition of the school, because our colleagues are somewhere enjoying, and we are here, even the road to this place, during rainy season like this, you find it difficult. At times there is a stream there. How to cross to this community is very difficult.
Nebugbini in the Karaga district of the northern region is another school. Here, one teacher handles kindergarten 1 to class 5 pupils in one dilapidated class. The poor structure serves as the motivating factor to many pupils, some of whom have now stopped schooling. The only teacher here is worried.
We have 3 classrooms now, and they are all in bad shape. I don't want to separate them because of those things. No furniture, and the classroom too. So the other 2 classrooms are not in good shape. I am alone, moving up and down. If you leave this class and you go to the other class, before you come back, they are gone.
Ata Longia is the Northern Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
The children we are seeing, we should not underrate them. They are very, very intelligent, but they just need something small to push them so that we can harness the talent or whatever they have. But if we think, oh, I don't care, it's not my child, I'm not from here, we are harming ourselves and we'll continue to be lacking behind.
The prevailing state of educational infrastructure in northern Ghana brings to question government's commitment to investment in infrastructure, especially schools in rural Ghana. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Northern Ghana.
Javado Primary School obviously needs a lot of help, and we hope that they receive the help that they need. This is Weekend Central on TV3. We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Have that one friend, always by your side for the big moments and ready to assist. He's always got his eyes on the prize and his heart in the right place. Where would we be without our BFF? This season, enjoy all 380 Premier League games with your BFF GoTV. Upgrade or reconnect to GoTV Super Plus for the discounted price of just 265 cedis today. GoTV, love it.
Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Thank you very much for having me here today. The nation builder John Mahama and Professor Nana Jane are bringing you the Women's Development Bank. Whoa! It is a very special bank run by only women, to serve only women. The aim is to empower millions of women across the country. The bank will have branches all over the nation to provide you with loans with very low interest and on very flexible terms.
Madam, I run a small makeup and nail bar. Do I qualify for a loan?
No need to bother, my sister. I mean hairdressers, market women, women-owned online businesses, female graduates, women in the corporate world, traders, agri, women in all fields qualify for loans. With John Mahama and Professor Nana Jane at the helm, the Ghanaian woman will surely rise.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
This is the show that brings finality to all the critical issues. It is the stage where all the facts are checked, issues thoroughly interrogated, opinions shaped, and debates settled. But over here, we do more than just talk. We resolve problems. We hold those in power accountable. We address all the key happenings in society, from politics to health to education to everything you deem important. And we will center the voice of the ordinary Ghanaian. This is the show that sets the agenda.
Agenda shows Mondays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Why should the Ghanaian people choose you and the CPP?
We have wasted our lives by voting for these two parties.
Is there justification for an audit of the voter register?
To ask an external person at this critical moment and this time to come and audit, I don't see the reason why. The moment I take the oath, there's a halt on any illegal mining.
Do you think that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be happy with the CPP of today?
I believe that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be very miserable with Ghana of today.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in
Welcome back to the program. Ghana has been selected to be the host country for the 23rd edition of International Conference on AIDS and STIs in Africa. This will be Ghana's first time hosting the biennial, conference that aims at collaborating with other national, regional, and international organizations to strengthen health systems and control and mitigate the impact of HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria.
Conference on AIDS and STIs in Africa, ICASA, is a biennial conference that alternates between Anglophone and Francophone African countries to institute policies and promote research knowledge to support the African government's national responses and strengthen the health system to control and mitigate the impact of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other emerging infections. The announcement follows an MOU signed between the government of Ghana and the Society for AIDS in Africa at the Jubilee House on Wednesday, October 2, to enable Ghana to commence preparations to host the 23rd edition of ICASA in 2025. It will be a pivotal moment in advancing Africa's health systems towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goal agendas. President for the Society for AIDS in Africa, Luc Amand Boudet, in acknowledging the importance of the conference, noted the significance of it being held in Ghana.
We have sent out already the call for thematics and objective of the conference. Based on that, we call all the experts all over the world. They will come here in November, from 28 to 29 November. They are the ones that we set the target for the upcoming conference. And these targets will go through the end of HIV by 2030 and respond to the African Union agenda to end AIDS by 2063.
Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chreme Itiahini, says the selection of Ghana as the host nation will bring enormous benefits to enhance the country's efforts in the fight.
The major impact is the reawakening of Ghanaians about HIV. It is going to be an opportunity where we will see the social mobilization of Ghana's society from traditional authorities to professional bodies, civil society and community levels. Is going to bring in a new momentum of active participation across the various sectors.
More than 10,000 delegates from over 120 countries are expected in the country for the conference scheduled to take place from 3rd to 8th December next year.
Aces, also do take care of yourself out there. But before we wrap up, I and Grace do believe that this picture is very iconic, which I believe was taken by Cliff.
Yes.
Yes, and these are some of the interesting inscriptions that they had, captured on the 3-day demonstration. You can see fix the street lights.
Great fields are crisis. Free Ralph. Want to me stop Galamsey. Corruption buries our future. Our leaders have sold us out. I mean, all the frustration of these young people captured
all of that.
on these placards.
GMB finale is tonight.
GMB finale is tonight.
Who's your favorite?
I'm going all out for Pipra. I think she's done well.
Absolutely.
Over the weekend.
I do have my favorite as well. But
why are you not bold to say
I actually saw her when she came for the auditions, and I was like, nah, this is
You're not confident she's going to win?
I know she will win.
Mention her name.
She will win,
hiding?
but I just don't want to take sides.
Oh.
She's beautiful. But yeah, so tonight it's happening at the National Theatre. Grab your tickets here at the front desk of TV3. My name is Godwin Asidiwa.
I'm Grace Hamuajiman. Thank you for being with us. See you next week.
Give us the Queen walk.